YouTube, it's me, it's the man who likes to orient, dropping a fresh VID for you today. And today, I want to talk to you guys about something that's coming back to WWE, the brand split. Now, initially, I thought this would be a bad thing, and if WWE messes it up, it certainly will be. But there are things that I think they can do that would make this brand split a lot more palatable, shall we say, and make a lot more sense. For example, if they take, say, the Intercontinental title, which has been a flagship title in the WWE for many, many years, keep that as a title specific to Raw, as in you'll only see that title defended on Monday Night Raw. Do the same thing for the US title, but make that specific to SmackDown. Now, if you are a world champion in WWE, because everybody's been thinking, well, with the brand split, we need to have 2 world titles. One for SmackDown, one for Raw. No, you don't. And here's why. If you are a professional wrestler on the biggest league in the world, known as World Wrestling Entertainment, and your aspiration is to be a world champion, which, let's face it, if you're not at least aspiring to be a world champion, you're not fit to be in the wrestling business. So, if you're going to be a world champion, be you a woman, be you a man, be you a tag team, you need to be willing to work both shows. Both shows need to be worked by your world champions. I cannot stress that enough. I know we had a time when Brock Lesnar was the undisputed champion, and then he got drafted to SmackDown, so he works solely as SmackDown's champion. Don't do that, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to your fan base that you so recently unified your two world titles into one, and now you're splitting the brands again, which makes sense because your roster is large enough, and also it gives talent that has been, to this point, underutilized a chance to shine more on an individual platform. But you're all competing for one title. Whether you have 2 brands under one roof, you both represent the same company. Thus, I feel they should be represented by one champion, and only one for the respective divisions. Now, let's talk about some other problems I have with the brand split. For example, by the way, if you don't already know, the brand split's happening on July 19th, so we have some time before it happens. One thing I don't agree with is when the brand split goes live on July 19th, it's going to move SmackDown from Thursday to Tuesday. Now, why is that a problem? Well, it's a problem because, think about it. Monday, you have 3 hours of Raw. Tuesday, you're now going to have, 2 hours of SmackDown. And then, if you're a fan who has the network, you can also throw in 1 hour of NXT. Now, that's just during the week. That's already 6 hours of programming. But let's say you're coming off a Sunday where a pay-per-view happening. 9 hours of wrestling over the course of 3 days in a week, and then nothing else really to stagger it out unless you have a subscription to the network and you can go and want to really saturate yourself in the WWE experience. It doesn't seem very logical. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The advantage, however, is that once SmackDown moves to Tuesday, it's going live. It's not going to be taped anymore. That's a good thing because if you're like me and you're a wrestling fan, ever since the days of Nitro, you've enjoyed live shows more than tape shows because you don't know what's going to happen. That's also bad if SmackDown gets stuck with a lot of wrestlers who have a habit of consistently making botches during their matches. That's not going to end well for anybody because there's no chance to go back and give them a chance to do a move or sequence of moves and make it look as good as possible. But on the whole, I think SmackDown going live will be better for the brand and better for WWE in general. Now, can this be done properly? Yes, it can. In my opinion, what you should do, no disrespect to Stephanie McMahon, but I think it would be best served if you gave Shane Raw and gave Stephanie SmackDown. This is because, for one, Stephanie already has experience running SmackDown from early in her career, and you have to admit that ever since Shane took over running Raw, it has become more watchable and more entertaining. Of course, for me, most of the watchable part is due to the fact that I now watch my Monday Night Raw via my Hulu subscription, which takes that 3 hours and turns it down to 1 hour 40. A much more manageable time frame to watch the current WWE product. However, that has not saved SmackDown. SmackDown hasn't been the B show like it's been for a long time. In fact, with the advent of NXT and the ability to view it on the network, it has become the C show. So here's my hope. Not saying that he will, because Heyman's a busy guy in his own right. But if I was Stephanie McMahon, assuming of course she's given control of SmackDown, I would seriously have Paul Heyman consult as a writer of how you want to negotiate the storylines. Because when Heyman was in charge of SmackDown all the way back in the early 2000s, ladies and gentlemen, if you can believe it, there was a time when SmackDown didn't completely suck balls. In fact, there was a time that SmackDown was the superior show over Monday Night Raw. And that was when Paul Heyman was the head writer. So you're probably not going to get him to that position again because he doesn't want it. He's busy working with Brock. But I'm fairly confident if you asked him to consult and just sent him the ideas that you wanted to execute, he could make SmackDown into a much better show and thusly make it much more profitable for WWE. So that's one way how I would run the brand split. And the other thing I want to see change from the previous brand split, see, I can speak the correct English, is I don't want to see individual brand pay-per-views. What I mean, I don't want to see just SmackDown superstars on a SmackDown pay-per-view, or just Raw superstars on a Raw pay-per-view. The pay-per-views should be co-branded like they have been, because in my mind, if you're going to do a brand split, ladies and gentlemen, the pay-per-views are the ground where you determine who has the better show, who has the better brand. And you do that by putting Raw superstars against SmackDown superstars and seeing who wins more matches. This will push the Raw superstars and SmackDown to work harder. And it will help, if done right, keep NXT superstars from making that immediate impact when they first show up on the main roster to getting lost in the shuffle. Do I think the brand split will end up being a good thing? Yes, I do, for the reasons I have outlined earlier in the video. What's your opinion on the brand split? Please feel free to post in your comments down below. All comments are accepted and welcome. If you like this video, click that little thumbs up next to it. If you don't want to miss the video, please click that subscribe button so you'll never miss anything connected with the Wrestling Ranter. Ranter's going to get off the soapbox. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Catch you later. Bye-bye.